Action Command Center. Good morning once again. TV3 New Day. This is where we're taking you straight to December 7, and we're getting you the opportunity to interact, to interface with the men and women who are asking for your mandate to represent you in Parliament. +275 is the name of a show on TV3. My name is Bride. This morning, I am stopping right in the central region, to the Cape Coast North constituency, where the battle is expected to be tough on December 7. Parliamentary candidates have lined up and asking the voters to just get them the opportunity to go and represent and serve them in Parliament. How will it pan out? This morning, you have the opportunity to listen and watch them, hear them talk, let them convince you, make that decision as to where to put your ballot on December 7. I'll very soon tell you who they are and where they have come from. Let me start with the Convention People's Party. The party says it is ready to now take up the reins of government from the ruling NDC. And so in the Cape Coast North constituency, they have actually picked a candidate who they think can beat all other contestants on December 7 and get the nod to represent the people of that constituency. I'm talking about the man who is sitting on that ticket of the Convention People's Party, Peter Caesar Kwegyil-Aggrey of the CPP. Good morning, and hope you're doing great. And how are the people in Cape Coast North receiving you as far as your campaign is concerned?
Really, it's wow. The response is very great, very, very powerful.
Right, yeah. And you're sure December 7 you get a nod to represent the constituency?
Precisely.
Okay, I am grateful for your time. And then from the camp of the PPP, the party that talks about Papa Preko, they are ready to also take the reins of government. They're asking for your mandate to also represent you in Parliament from that constituency. And for them, women are the game changers. So a woman is representing them in that constituency, and that woman says she's ready to take up that mandate of representing Cape Coast North constituency. I'm talking about Sarah Mary Eresi Bakna of the PPP. Grateful for your time this morning, madam.
Thank you very much.
And how are the constituents receiving you?
Oh, very, it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're assured they will give you the nod on December 7th.
God willing.
Grateful for your time this morning in our studios. And from the camp of the NPP, he is also saying that, well, the contest is one that the ruling party, the NDC, is ready to do battle and take the seat and represent the party in Parliament. He sits on the ticket of the NDC and he is representing the party in the Cape Coast North constituency. I'm talking about Kobe Champa. Good morning to, and hope you're doing great.
Good morning, I'm doing very well.
And how are the constituents receiving you?
Well, it's a work in progress, so we are gradually working at it.
I'm grateful for your time this morning. And gentlemen and lady, grateful once again. Ahead of December 7 on +275, we show our viewers that it is a battle of ideas and it is unity we are forging ahead of December 7. So give yourselves a handshake. Let my viewers see you in a handshake, a sign of unity. It's only a battle of ideas to know who has the best of them to represent the Cape Coast North constituency on December 7. Once again, welcome. The battle is starting from here in our studios. And I'm going to ask questions, and you can have the chance to react to anything that your contender would say if you want to. And in 2 minutes, you can answer the questions. I'm beginning with the man who is the grandson of the great Kwegyil-Aggrey on the camp of the CPP, Peter Caesar Kwegyil-Aggrey. I'm starting with you. Cape Coast North constituency. In 2 minutes, tell me, what are the needs of that constituency, and why do you think you are the best person to represent the voters there, the constituent of the Cape Coast North constituency? In 2 minutes, you can start.
I want to use this opportunity to greet Ivor Community Streets, my flag bearer, and also all comrades. We did thorough investigations on the ground, and we realized that unemployment is on a very high rate, and also people being employed on jobs are being paid below the minimum wage. And we did a simple calculation to make that analysis, whether it's really true. So, for example, if somebody is taking about 20 Ghana cedis per month, and he spends 8 hours a day for somebody for 24 days, that is 192. Now, if you divide the 200 by 192, the person makes 1 cedi per hour. So by 8 hours, meaning he makes 8 cedis per day. So looking at this simple analysis, you realize that people are really, really, really struggling. And that is the main issue that we want to come on top and rectify this situation. You know, CPP, we've done it before. From a recruitment regime, we've said that we've had a track record. So we have that mandate that if they vote for CPP, we are going to focus on self-reliance to the people.
All right, so you're talking about people who are underpaid,
Yes.
and also the fact that unemployment is a huge challenge in that constituency.
Yes.
Can you paint a picture of the unemployment challenge in the Cape Coast North constituency?
Basically, you realize that most of the youth, you know, after their tertiary or after the second cycle or whatever, when they are out, there are no jobs. And we've also done feasibility studies that I think if we focus on the self-reliance, that is the way to go. And I have experience in that. I have been with the UNHCR as a livelihood coordinator for the past 4 years, and have also trained close to 2,000 refugees to have a basic skills training. And we took them through, MBTI exams, and also English language proficiency. Because of language barrier, we also went through that, the Ivorians. As I'm saying, we have most of them in town, getting jobs in various areas in Cape Coast North and South, and some have also been able to set up their own businesses. So with this background, I believe that the way to go for Cape Coast North is all about self-reliance.
All right, that's according to CPP. Before I go to Madam Sarah Mary Buckner, let me quickly chip in this. Now, you talk about unemployment as a huge problem, and particularly with graduates from that constituency. But government says that it has done a lot. It has put in massive infrastructure. This infrastructure is expected to provide that employment that the graduates will need. Government is talking about those infrastructure in your constituency. Is it not perhaps what will give these persons the job they need? Peter, I'm still talking to you.
Sorry?
I'm asking that you talk about unemployment as a huge problem in the Cape Coast constituency.
Okay.
The government says that it is laying down at the foundation infrastructure that will provide the needed jobs. And so in your constituency, perhaps, are these infrastructure not what will provide the jobs for these graduates you're talking about?
Really, if you come to Cape Coast North, if you start from Brebreze up to Efutu, most of them are into farming. Okay? And down to Ankafo, to Besakrom in Passam, they're also into agriculture and livestock. And down to Pedu, Abra, they're also into petty trading. So at the bottom line, you realize that there are no jobs for, you know, those who have the highest qualification. And I believe it's a main challenge. And even if there are jobs, I foresee it as artificial jobs. Because they employ them within the 6 months or 1 year, they are out. So that is what we have observed on the ground.
I'm grateful for your time there. Peter Caesar Kwejilagre of the CPP, grateful for your submission. And let me go to Madam Sarah Mary Buckner of the PPP. Now, is unemployment a challenge your party has identified in the constituency?
Yes. We have a lot of unemployed. Poverty is also another issue that we are contending with. We have unskilled youth and high illiteracy rate. That is what, you know, I've come to know in my constituency. And I'm really determined to at least bring some of these down. I haven't been to Parliament before. I'm not in there, yet I'm doing a lot to assist the people. Because of the high illiteracy level, many of the people, especially the youth, are unemployed, they are unskilled. So I have started training many of them. In fact, if I put all of them together, at least I have 80 to 100 people whom I'm trying as much as possible to train. Some are into sewing, hairdressing, sound engineering. I have some in auto mechanic shops, learning on the jobs. So I've done all these. Apart from that, a lot of people are also trading, but they are trading with very little capital. and it's really difficult for them. So whenever they approach you, they try as much as possible to ask for loan. But unfortunately, I'm not a bank, and I can't access huge loans for them. In 2012, yes, I did. But in the end, none paid the loans that were given. So this particular election year, I've told all of them, I'm not going to assist with money. But since you need something, and since you have to work, because the hands that do not work will certainly not feed you. Therefore, I'm trying as much as possible to assist them. We have about 47 communities. At least I've done about 29 of the communities, especially the parents, or let's say the adults, in quote, Abatan, who need help. I've at least assisted them with whatever help they need in the job that they are doing. If I put all these 29 communities that I've helped, and the people within each community, the average is about 55 persons. So if we multiply 55 by 29, we'll see how many people I have affected within the community. And apart from that, I've been able to, I sought white-collar jobs for some people, especially those who have completed their completed university, and those who have completed tertiary, Polytechnic, because they have the CV, they have their certificates. So at least I've been able to assist them. Okay. Apart from that, I've also paid for some people who are in the tertiary institutions, university, etc. I've assisted them, not wholly, but a little, because they come. I have sought something small. Can you add a little to it for me to go and register? I've done that to many people. Even, let me just cite one example. Right. 2012, they put, we all know that when you take somebody over to learn how to sew, the person has to spend 3 years. 2012, my counterpart, or let's say my opponent, took some people with the perception that they are going to be trained. They took them to various sewing institutions, and they were supposed to have been paid from NYEP. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. Okay. It didn't happen. And as a result, some of them just, asked the people to leave. But there was one particular girl who is just an orphan, both parents dead. So they approached me that since she was brought there and no money was paid for her upkeep and her training, I have to also step in. All right. Fortunately for me, she is going to write the exam anytime from now. All right, I'm grateful. I'll come to you for more of that, but I'm sure you want a quick reaction to that. Honorable Kobie Champong, she's raising some issues with some NYEP trainees that she said were taken there and they were not paid for. Do you want to react to that? Before no, I don't need to. Okay, all right. That happened in 2012. I'm grateful that you won't want to react to that. Now, grateful for your submission, Madam Sarah Mary Bachner. But Kobie Champong, let me come to you. You sit on the ticket of the NDC to contest that seat. Now, let's start from here. Your contenders have identified unemployment as a major challenge in Cape Coast North constituency. For you, your government is in power. Now, how do you intend to deal with these unemployment challenges, and perhaps what has been done before you even get ready to lace your boots for December 7, as far as creating jobs is concerned in the Cape Coast North constituency?
All right, thank you very much, Bright. For you to have a better understanding of what happens in that constituency, you need to do a demographic analysis of what happens there. Fundamentally, 80% of the population in that area are predominantly farmers. You get about another 5 to 8% being commercial traders, you know. So that is the makeup of the constituency. And then a little about 1% working in various government jobs within the locality, particularly in the University of Cape Coast and then Cape Coast Polytechnic. Now, with this situation, you realize that you have a lump of people who, during their livelihoods as farmers, can carry on effectively. But beyond a certain age, they cannot continue to engage in the same farming practices the way they used to do. And therefore, when you look down and you distill, you realize that along this 80% group, almost 60% come home and they sit, have no work to do. That creates the bulk of the abject poverty we see in the constituency. Because these people come back from their farms or do not do any serious farming anymore and sit at home. There is no income that comes in. It is my intention to put all of these people, as many as possible, on the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program. Because that is what the government program says, look, if you've done your working years and you are at home, there should be some amount of money that comes to you on a monthly basis for you to survive on those things. That is one. Now, if you look at the youth, majority of them finish JSS and they don't continue. And that is a derivative from the fact that their parents are so poor, they cannot continue to take them through schooling. So they also abandon school. Now, they abandon school with no skills. So, which means you have a large population of the youth being unemployed without any skills. My contention is that we need to put all of these things on technical and vocational education. Create an avenue for them to acquire some skills that will enable them become useful citizens themselves by working for themselves. Because look, when you do TVET and you do it very well, there is not a single person who cannot find work once they've gone through a very good TVET program. So that is the plan for the constituency. Now, if you look at the whole area, we have two major areas of healthcare delivery. The university has a hospital. Interberton is also a hospital. But there are a number of small, cheap compounds that have been constructed. In fact, one of the major ones is the Futu Medical Center. I strongly believe it is important that we develop the Futu Medical Center into a full-fledged polytechnic or a hospital so that it will begin to serve the northern part of the constituency, from Futu, Brabeze, Yunesin, Dehia, all those places, so that they can also have something up there. When you do that, you lessen the burden on Interberton, because Interberton, the way it is situated, serves Cape Coast North and Cape Coast South. So which means if you don't develop that part, the pressure is always on the university. So for me, my advocacy role is to make sure that the Futu Medical Center is turned into a polytechnic with the construction of new facilities for maternity, childcare, and all those things, so that at the end of the day, we have another medical center that springs up in that area and takes care of their health needs. Now, if you look at the university itself, in any university community, the university has a symbiotic relationship with the communities. Because you cannot be a university and be an island unto yourself.
Right.
It is my intention to persuade the university communities to begin to look at using the communities as basis for their programming, for their learning. Because look, if you let all these communities just sit and none of the research activity of the university doesn't impact them, then we are creating a situation where it's an island and everybody is sitting by itself. So I'm trying to get the university communities to begin to see that, look, the communities you have in there are assets that you can use in terms of the research work that you've done. Because look, if it comes to training, and it comes to training of teachers, you can get members of the community who have gone to school at an appreciable level, who can be trained as teachers through the university system. If you come to the Department of Agriculture in the university, you can train a lot of the farmers in modern ways of doing things so that they can have an appreciable level of farming. This is how I want the constituency to function. Because at the end of the day, look, we want to improve the livelihood of everybody. And the way to do it is to take the correct measures and steps that will enable them achieve those things.
I'm grateful for your submission there. Kobe Champon is on the ticket of the NDC for the Cape Coast North constituency. Madam Sarah Mary Wesi Bakna is representing the PPP, and Peter Cesar Kujilagri is representing the Great CPP for the December 7 elections. I'm grateful. But Peter, I'm coming back on to you again because the issue of unemployment is key here, and he's told us how he intends to deal with it. But you raised the issue that a chunk of the unemployment people there are graduate. Now, you're content that one of them is suggesting that just a small number who perhaps find themselves in that bracket, and that the majority of the people in your constituency are farmers. Is this known to you?
Yes, it is known to me. Most of them are farmers.
Great. Right. And so in your efforts at giving them that or taking them out of the poverty bracket, what are your plans for these 80% who are farmers?
Basically, we did a research. We added the youth and the chief and stakeholders, and realized that from Bebrezi up to Efutu, they have one particular source of fruit, which is the orange. And what we intend to do is to put up systems, because if you don't have good systems, meaning you will not perform. So we put up a simple machine which will convert this, orange into juice. Then we look at the packaging, branding, and the marketing aspects. And we all love vitamin C. So what do? We focus on we look at the hospitals, which they like vitamin C, schools, individual shops. Then we will sell to them. Now, what we are going to get, we create what is called mutual fund at the corner somewhere for those from Bebrezi up to Efutu, meaning that people can go in for soft loans. If you need support, let's say somebody wants to continue education and needs money, they can go for it. And also, if you want to expand, the farming activities there, you can also go for it. And we can also duplicate, meaning that we can put up more of the machinery system between Bebrezi and Efutu. Now, if you narrow down to Impasem, to Bremeso, to Ankafo, to down to Kakune and Switcher, we have vast land, which this vast land, I'm telling you, we want to go into organic farming. This time, not in organic farming. In organic farming, you know what it takes. It's kind of cancers and whatever if you take organic products, inorganic products, sorry. So organic, we're going to go to vegetables. Within 3 months, you can harvest them. We do the packaging, we do the branding, we create jobs there. We can also export some of the vegetables, meaning we create jobs within that environment. The next is from Abra, Pedu, you realize that the youths among them are into petty trading. And petty trading means that some of them may need support. So we've also put system in place, because without system you cannot, perform. So you put system in place by giving them soft loans. Then we also have what is called entrepreneurship skills, because you cannot be doing business without not having any idea about what you are doing. So apart from the farming, this is what CPP, as I said, self-reliance is the way to go. Becoming your own boss is the way to go. This is what we have for the people in Cape Coast.
I'm grateful
you
for your time. Madam Bakna, so these that you have heard from your other opponents, you think indeed these are what would take poverty out of the constituency?
Yes, in a way. At least it will reduce it completely. I mean, drastically. Yes, they've talked about oranges, etc., etc. We have a small factory that is unfortunately not in use now. I've already spoken with my flag bearer, and he has assured me we will find a way of, renovating it. Apart from this, I have personally contacted 3 chiefs, asking them for a piece of land, piece of farmland, so that at least I can put so many people on it to cultivate. And with this, I have school feeding program, on my mind, because I am certainly going to have a lot of them go on the land, plant, and then get paid, so that we can have these vegetables to support the school feeding program, because they need all these. Since they go and buy the vegetables to do the cooking, we will supply them with the vegetables. And I have so many, for instance, the people I reached out to. There are many farmers. Many of them ask for seeds, they ask for seedlings, they ask for spraying machines, what do you call it? They also asked for the chemical itself, so that at least it can help them with their jobs. Apart from, agriculture, I have also, in fact, somebody led me to a whole area that has a lot of stones. I also spoke to my flag bearer who delegated somebody to go and have a look and give a report. And it was a very, good report. We are also going to tackle that as well. But we really need to do more. For instance, 20 December 7th, we are going to cast the vote. These people are really in dying it. It's not going around dishing money that, can bring the poverty down. You need to let them work. And already I have coined some, I have a program, Fawunsa Yejuma. I move from community to community, teaching them how to make liquid soap, bleach, and chips. In fact, I've been to about 10 communities with such programs, and the enthusiasm that the people, show in this. I remember I was standing there, and at one particular place, Ansapatu, one of them said, "Hey, I told my husband I'm coming to learn a trade." So now she's going to show the husband what she has been able to learn. But I've done about between 9 and 10 communities. Right. You need to empower them. If you empower them, they will also have the willpower to bring down whatever. We don't always have to go begging. That is one thing I really do not like. That is why I came in to assist my people.
And save the people of Cape Coast, not constituency. I'm grateful, Madam Sarah Mary Iresi-Bakna of the PPP. Let's stay on this debate a little longer, because one of the key things is that members of parliament don't have the funding to be able to execute certain projects that they speak about during their campaigns. But what they have is that advocacy skill that enables them to get development to these constituencies. Now, Honorable Kobiachamba, let me start with you. Now, how much advocacy skill do you have that the people of the constituency should look at and vote for you? And how do you intend to use that to perhaps implement some of these projects you're talking about as far as unemployment is concerned?
Well, in terms of advocacy, I have done a series of advocacy programs for the constituency. I mean, in the past, I helped recruit people into the police, prisons, fire service, immigration. This is something that I hardly talk about because I thought it was just natural that if you're in a certain position and it could be of help, you do it. So I just do those things without talking about them. But you see, in the broader scheme of things, we need to look at what program the NDC is putting up. If you look at the current Youth Employment Agency, there are new models that have been developed that will take care of the technical and vocational aspects of what we are all talking about. You understand? And therefore, it is for us to direct the youth into those programs, because these are programs that are already in existence. They are not new programs that are being fashioned out. They are already in existence.
So the programs are there in the
constituency.
Exactly.
For
instance, Cape Coast North.
Exactly. I mean, currently, I've recruited people into the health assistance program. I've recruited people into the fire service program. I've recruited people into the police service program. These are all programs that are there. So we just need to shepherd them into it. And for all you know, when you go into this program, you have a 2-year period to be there, to actually think about what you want to do afterwards. So at least it gives you a little cushion for you staying on the program for 2 years. But beyond that, the broader scheme of things is that we need to bring everything that is of importance in the constituency together in a sustainable manner. Because look, we can do soap training, we can do beads making. If the people do not have the interest in doing those things, over a period, it will whittle away. It cannot be sustained. We need to guide them and make sure that they have an interest in what they are going to do. I mean, look at people who sell oranges and lime in the area. Those days, there used to be a company called El Rose that used to buy all the lime and squeeze it out in their factory. That company has gone off the market. But currently what they do is they sell all the oranges and lime to the Ivorian vehicles that come and buy them. I'm asking myself, why should they sell to Ivorians when there are fruit processing companies in Ghana? When I looked at it critically, I realized that they only needed a market linkage. That's it. You need to be linked up to a market so that if there are fruit processing companies in Accra we need to be able to link them up so that they can, the orange producers can sell directly to these people instead of selling to the Ivorians. I can understand maybe the Ivorians might give them a little markup, but at the end of the day, if you want it to be sustainable, you'll be better off with a company that is based in your country that will pick the fruits of the market at every time than just waiting for a seasonal Ivorian truck that comes in to pick the oranges and goes away whilst you wait. You understand? So we need to create the linkages, and those linkages should be sustainable. I have a plan of building what I call a small TVET conglomerate. I want to put hairdressers, barbershop, mechanics, all those in an area and create the needed synergy for training for them so that when you pass out, you can start something on your own. For instance, in these days, when you are a mechanic, what tool do you need to do your work? It's a diagnostic tool. You need a diagnostic tool so that when somebody comes with his vehicle, because modern day vehicles since 1996 all have computer chips embedded in them. And therefore, you cannot do any proper diagnosis if you don't have the diagnostic tool. So all they need is diagnostic tool. So that when you come, you put your vehicle on it, it can tell you from A to Z where the problem is, and you can basically address it. They do not have those tools. My intention is to bring those tools through a proper training program so that they can have access to some of those things. And when you do that, you are creating jobs that are sustainable, because as long as the person has that tool and continues to work, it is becoming a sustainable enterprise for them. The hairdressers, they always tell you they need dryers. You understand? The question is, how many dryers can you give to each hairdresser? Maybe one person. But over a period of time, you can equip them in a cooperative setting where they can use these dryers in a sustainable manner so that their work can continue. The same for barbers. The same for all those other little... I mean, there are people who cut stones. You know, they cut the stones into various grades. You need to sustain them in an effort so that they can see that what they are doing is appreciated. These are some of the things that need to be addressed. The key word in developing that constituency is sustainability. Because you don't have to do anything that can be done 1 year and then for the rest of the 4-year term, there's nothing done.
I'm grateful Kobi Champo is representing the NDC in the Cape Coast constituency. Madam Sarah Bakna, your NDC opponent is suggesting, for instance, that there are certain youth employment models that are operating in the constituency, and he mentions several of them. And he's suggesting that all we need to do is to draw the attention of these young people or shepherd them into these models, and then they can have a cushion to look at what to do next. Are you aware of these models running in the constituency or operating in the constituency?
Well, I remember I went to the Metro office. As I was climbing, I saw some, young ladies coming down with letters. So I stopped them. I took a letter and read, and I realized that the date that had been written, the date that the letter was written was 2 months ago. And I asked them, are you going to be in a medical field? I mean, how well have you been trained? Because we are talking about people's health.
You're talking about health assistants?
Yes. But, I mean, here we are. They haven't been, trained. I mean, if you are training somebody to attend to another in a health institution, it shouldn't be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. No. So in fact, I realized that it was just, if I should use this word, a gimmick. Because, they all came down with letters. Some were going to be, community police, etc., etc. And I'm telling you, it happened in 2012. It happened in 2012. 2012, they took a whole chunk of people to Zoom Lion then. Now I think it's Zoom Alliance or something. Zoom Lion, they all rushed in. After the elections, off they went. They sacked everyone. So I know that what is happening now, I'm not going to say that it's going to be sustained. It will not be sustainable. They are going to bring them out immediately we, end elections. So
the models are there, but you think that they're not sustainable?
I don't think so, because I'm saying that it happened in 2012. 12. Yes.
And you are predicting it will happen again.
Oh, sure, because they are using, you know, he has a, let's say, maybe the, let's say Batnodro will be his mentor in the sense that he is taking after him. And certainly, oh, let's do this. Let's just give them letters that we are, you know, going to employ them for people to do. I know there is a whole litany of, we've done this, we are, it's not so.
All
and
right.
I'm saying that we are only hoping. And these people, they don't, you know, they need something to go. I mean, we have to make sure that their lives are well taken care of. You can't say that you are waiting till before you assist them with their, you know, day-to-day bread.
I'm grateful. Peter, I'll come to you, but let me go a quick reaction. I mean, she says that these are done for elections.
Well, you know, I'm very surprised, and I shouldn't be surprised anyway. Look, sitting here, I was the chief executive of the Youth Employment Agency. I passed the Act 887 that established the new Youth Employment Agency, and I developed a lot of the modules that are being implemented today. So if she says these people have not been trained, it's false. Everybody who has to be trained has been trained. And they have jobs for 2 years. They have jobs for 2 years. That is what the new mandate is.
They will be sacked after December 7th.
They will not be sacked after December 7th. It's not going to happen. They have jobs for 2 years. And that's what we developed. So if anybody sits here and says, you've just been given, no. And by the way, health assistants are supposed to assist the physicians and the nurses. They are not the be-all and the end-all. They are health assistants. And they've been trained in their specific roles. The police has been trained. The fire people have been trained. The immigration people have been, everybody has gone through some form of training for them to be able to perform at the optimum level for which we are being asked to go. So what she's saying is not the truth.
Oh,
it is not the truth.
All right.
It's true if
I'm grateful for your reaction there. Peter, let me come back to you because, of course, this has also come to your notice, and the fact that your contender is suggesting that these models are running well in the constituency. The youth have 2 years a job there. After that, there's an exit program to ensure that they find themselves where they should be. And he is suggesting that this is the way out. Madam Bakna is saying that, well, it is only for elections. After that, they will be thrown out. Where do you stand in this debate as far as this is concerned?
What I would say is it's all about systems. If you have good systems, definitely you can perform. And as I told you initially on that some of the youth, when they are being employed, within some few months, you know, it's kind of go and sit home. And as I said, I call it artificial jobs. So I want to find out from Kobe. As he said, he wants to give them 2 years. Is it possible after 2 years, are they going to extend, you know, to continue the job, or they will lay them off?
So your concern is the exit program.
Exits.
Okay, you go on. I'll get him to react
and
to that.
Also, as I said, I've been with the UNHCR as their livelihood coordinator, and also trained the Afghan refugees, over 2,000 of them, into skills training. Electricals and electronics, ICT, carpentry, basic building technology, etc. So having this background, I believe that if I'm being given the mandate at the CPP representing Cape Coast North, I'm going to deliver to the max. Yeah.
And you won't use the youth new models that
no,
the NDC candidate is talking about?
I have my models already because I have gone through this program for 4 years with the Ivorians. So I have the in and out wherever to perform.
I'm grateful for your time. Okay, please come in because Madam Sarah, I'll come to you very soon.
I'm trying to answer his question. One, this program is renewable. Okay. After 2 years, you can do another 2 years. But you see, let me tell you the basis for some of these things. For those in the security services, the idea is quite simple. It is to train them, give them the kind of training. And then when it is time for recruitment into the services, because they have already gone through a process of training by those services, they become first in line. That is the whole essence. So if you train a fire service recruit, once fire service is about recruiting and if they've gone through their 2 year period, they stand a better chance because they have already been trained. So that when they get into the fires, it now takes a lesser time training them because they are already doing the kind of things that they are supposed to be doing. Same for prisons, same for immigration, Same for police. That is the essence of the whole training. For the health assistants, you know now there are health assistant training schools.
Right.
That is to shepherd them into it. Once you've had a taste of what it takes to be a health assistant, then you shepherd yourself into it. It's a continuum. There's no break. It's a continuum. My only problem is the interest of the students who go on these programs. Sometimes they lose interest and lose focus, and therefore do not keep at it. But once you are keeping at it and you are going at the pace at which you are supposed to go, you would have a livelihood at the end of it. I'm
grateful. Madam Sarah, you wanted to say something?
Yes. With his module. Unfortunately, when I met the people, I took the letter and read it. And I asked, have you been trained? He said, oh, one said 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I said, hey, I mean, you are going to perform a particular job, and you've been trained for only 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, how are you going to perform?
Okay, so your concern is that...
My concern is because I'm not sure...
Period.
Yes, because as he's saying that they've been in the system, I don't think so. They haven't.
Madam,
yes.
What are the training requirements of a health assistant that you know? What are the training requirements of health assistant?
Now, she's suggesting that, well, if somebody is going to work in a health-related profession, that person should have a longer period of training. That's what she's suggesting.
Because you have to be trained in various...
There's no need repeating the facts. All these programs have been drawn based on the schedules. And if you train a healthcare assistant for a period of 2 weeks, calculate from Monday to Monday, 8 hours a day. How many hours of training have you given that person?
That's over 80 hours.
That's what we are going by. And mind you, these people are not the be-all and the end-all in the clinics. They are supposed to assist doctors and nurses. They have been trained to do those specific functions. And as they go on the job and get the experience, it adds to their training. So it is not about the length of training. It's about what specifically they've been asked to do. And once they are doing it, it means they are acquiring more skills as they continue to do it. That is what is of importance.
I'm grateful for your time this morning. Kobe Champon is the NDC candidate for the Cape Coast North constituency. Madam Sarah Mary Eresi Bakna is representing the PPP in the same constituency. Peter Caesar Kwejilagwe is representing the CPP in the Cape Coast North constituency. Now, before we wrap up our conversation, of course, the people are watching and listening to you, and Cape Coast, your constituency, I guess, is a predominantly a Fante-speaking constituency. And so we'll give you the opportunity to speak in that Fante language. Tell the people why you're the best person and why they should vote for you in 1 minute, and then we can wrap up our conversation. Peter, I'm starting with you.
Party A winner, Party B rentase, and a Party B so winner, Party A so rentase. Na CPPZ, Wamakayahu, na Yansum. Na up to date being so, ye pass some peace. Say Party Rikanwa, I don't know where being there, I will from our bush one. I could see a him. Ebia, I was saying French, I was being into umber into what kind there. Wama Yan Fibianchi Razin, sir. Razi no see again.
I am grateful. Peter Caesar Kwejilagwe is representing the CPP. Madam Sarah Mary Eresi Bakna is representing the PPP. Madam, in 1 minute, I speak to your people.
Yo, Michia Wanyina, I will be a team. PPP for Yinara. For Dr. Parker Sindum, son, Basi. Mercade, Eyan Yankwara Benmuda. Yes, Cassu Yashu Yenim Fifi and Sana, Yenya, Neyaza Yejuma. And in Ciciaran, Dam Ramon Quarry and Amri and the Pinjanen, Damara and Amresrade, Ankran Kubiara, Awa, Eya Barton, Kene Hude, say Etuma Pipipia. Nine Yabba Power. Sisi abadwen there Dr. Parker is in the film, on film, or yadza, and this 4 year just to tarnish the image, his image. And saying, Murmur at us there. On film, Yabba Power, our Barton at Uba Boko School. Schooling, I was Wusikan, a Biba Kaukotokum. And I'm there, Yabama, free na Yarakan, why ye, very free. I broke so in 1 hour, word same. When you're there, Sabi, dreadful Kakakra, was a repamping wage man, Ninin around Sunday about to a bubble win. ina biara owo num wat num pom owo za odu hwefie ama orokoso akwakoto aba wato ne ye na mmom kakra makan de youth na abatanen wanyi won youth nkasa wanyi won bankasa onam de basa ye ne ya tetenka pi woma mama ibia ne ba onfa ne ho nka hye bibi ma oze ahokyere ze baba onam de oze ahokyere ne ba onon nipakro na oso won obegina nchan ntin obiara onyade ina abrekro na so ezibane pinya na haya election day what share what ba ohon ne so biara afrebe biara obeye polling agent kakra mbasra hide wo me yenhwe ne nkeze ezibana echi warka na ba na atina ho na ereda yesre oye tricks asisiara nye nyina yehu limited registration yehu kakra ntin yerka de on ibia onyade onbon ho ban dambra munue okay yes ame menyima abor me finfant krom menyima abor ena mente french so enti se eku bi ba nya so yetse
all right
da wo pa de wo pia hen kogu apumun mereka de on banedam o de hen nyinara yedze asomdwe yedze adwene pa na yedze nyipa no hodo yedze yi adwuma bibiara bokodu ye yam hen me da ho na ase
maso me da ase all right on be champion your time now to speak in the Fanti language 1 minute speak to your people.
Yo Cape Coast North for easy anope mezinchia na mezromo hon na abaya yerbotu yi oyo aba ihe nyina ode yeze ya hodzem yezo to na somdwim yewia yenhwe parties na original ne yenhwe hona obotum wa abo hen wo ya setinam Cape Coast North yehia nzama pi honorable Batunodro wayebi wentum wanye ni nyina amaso maba dem robotiado so de yehwede yen yebehwe ya ye he school sam yen health sam hene adwuma sam hene mbabun ndwuma wonya na hona wo school won tuado ni nyina yeza ahye hetem yebehwe ne ya abo ma ni nyina wa akodo osa na Cape Coast North baby ayewon ye university community ode university ni nyama woyen o impact hen enti obiara nsi abotar obiara nya reshem abana yebotun NDC yenyimda hen ya hyehye hen bibia pepepe yenyi adagira yerka probi wazina to prison ye wazina yede hen nyima na yesi yerko nti ne de bibia yekada JM ontuado na kobia champion so ontuado ya sam kakra yedze mo hon onanyi yede hon ase
maso me da ase won checha wo homan na yen kire yen krofo de asomdwe na nkabo de yedze record December 7. I'm grateful to you. Kobia champion is representing the NDC parliamentary party in the parliamentary elections in the Cape Coast North constituency. Madam Sarah Mary Bakna Eresi Bakna is representing the PPP in that same constituency. Peter Cesar Kwejilagwe is representing the CPP in the constituency. I'm grateful for your time this morning. I'm sure you have made that decision to either vote for the NDC, the PPP, or the CPP as they spoke to you. We're grateful for those of you who watched us from your homes and offices. Same time next week, we'll be back with +275. Gentlemen and lady, grateful for your time this morning and wish you all the best, and we'll be following your activity in the constituency. Time now to hook up with the sports team for sports updates. Stay with us. This is New Day.